Director of Intel Mobile and Communications Group, Mike Bell.
First, everybody, let me say thank you to all of you for coming. Kirk and I feel very fortunate today to show you some of the great game-changing things our teams all over the world have been working on. We have some very exciting product introductions we'd like to do today. In the course of that, there's one message I really want to make sure doesn't get missed. We are beginning to deliver on the promise of taking advantage of our leading-edge technology across our entire family of products. We have a consistent architecture, and we have advanced technologies across our product portfolio, from the lowest battery-powered device to the highest high-end. This is going to be something that we intend to take advantage of even more fully in the future, and it's a real advantage that we have. So, let's talk about phones. Let me recap 2012 a little bit. So, CES 2012, we introduced the first Intel-based smartphones that had leading performance and competitive power consumption. And as you can see behind me on the screen, as well as down here, we have delivered 7 designs from leading OEMs across the planet, and they're distributed in over 25 countries. Now, we did something really interesting, I think, when we brought these phones out. We provided a reference design for our OEMs so that they could get to market quickly and with higher quality. But you know, a reference design isn't just about a chip and a few drivers. We actually created entire devices, and we actually got those devices certified on carrier networks. So these devices, from the get-go, were of shipping quality that our partners could depend on. Furthermore, we worked very closely with Google to create a highly optimized version of Android for our platforms. And we even included some Intel-developed technology that lets the majority of Android applications just run, no matter what platform they were created for. So, pretty thrilled about that. We had a great start in 2012. Let's look at how these platforms stack up to the competition. So we're always very happy when independent reviewers such as yourselves can validate what we've already known internally about the benefits of the Intel technology. So designing a phone is more than just about speeds and feeds. It's about the way the device performs. It's about the way the consumer and the customer uses the phone. It's about key metrics like user interface, responsiveness. And of course, these days, it's about performance with web technologies. So the first assessment that we love comes from Onotech. It really shows the benefit of the systems approach to creating these devices with our partners. The combination of our hardware and our software and our systems focus has given us a device that, I'll let you look here, sort of speaks for itself. And battery life. It's a question I've been getting since I joined Intel. Independent research has also shown what we've known, that we're very competitive on battery life. Our partner at Motorola created a fantastic device, the Razr I, similar device, the Razr M, that had a competitive chipset. And as you can see, independent folks have shown.
Dave, I'm getting that interference sound again.
Our whole 2012 was producing this fantastic battery. And we that. We're now taking a smart platform that gets us into more of the value segment. So this segment is one of the fastest growing segments in the mobile device world. Projected to be 100 million units by 2015. And these units will be sold into emerging geos such as Latin America, Africa, China, India, Southeast Asia. So the customers in these segments want high-end smartphone features, and we at Intel think that emerging market customers shouldn't have to settle for a substandard experience. We think that smartphones have become a fundamentally enabling technology that should be within everyone's reach. So we're very happy today to announce a new platform we've developed, internally codenamed Lexington. Many of you may have heard about it through leaks already. But we've built this device targeted at emerging markets. So let's talk a little bit about it. So it's a no compromises platform. Let me show you. I happen to have one right here. It is an Atom processor running at 1.2 gigahertz with hyper-threading technology. It's optimized to run Android applications very fast, as our other platforms do as well. It does fantastic on web browsing, and we'll talk about a few more features in a second. This particular device is a reference device that we've created much like we did last year. It's based on a 3.5-inch screen that's HDGA by 220 resolution. And it's based on our own modem, we call the XMM6265, which is HSPA plus modem. So although this is a value smartphone, it has full 21 megabits per second capability. And of course, we've also added some other features which I'll talk about, such as dual SIM, dual standby. And it has the horsepower that you need to drive Android applications in a really fantastic way. So let's talk a little bit about this. The platform is fantastic at imaging. It has full HD 1080p 30 frames per second encode and decode. It has the same still image performance that we talked about on our Medfield platform last year, with the exception that this device is able to do a burst frame rate of 7 frames in 1 second. It has Imagination SGX 540 graphics, so the games that you know and love on the Android market will play pretty much flawlessly on this device. And it's really designed to be a no excuses multimedia phone. So I love doing this demo. I happen to have one here. We're going to turn the lights up so I can take a picture of all of you in the audience. So say cheese. I'm going to take 7 pictures in 1 second. That was pretty much it. I got a better view than you did, so I'm sorry. Okay. Anyhow. We've added a couple things to this platform that really make it appealing for the emerging markets and for the value segment that we're targeting. We've added dual SIM, dual standby, so you can have 2 SIMs active at once in this device. If you travel, or if you have an area covered by 2 carriers that have different data rates, instead of having to swap the SIMs in and out physically, both SIMs are active in the device. We've added FM radio support, so you can get free content over the air without having to use minutes from your data plan to get multimedia content. We put a micro SD card slot in, that way the customers can go ahead and expand storage using whatever the lowest cost devices they can buy locally. And even though this is a value device, we're still fully supporting our Intel wireless display technology. So the 1080p video that you capture of your friends and relatives, you can play back on devices like plasma TVs or big screens, wherever you may happen to have. So it's a no compromises smartphone we're talking about here. So a little bit more about the platform. We're thrilled to announce several design wins today. Our partners at Acer, Safaricom, and Lava will be announcing products based on this platform. Details about the specific products will be available later in the quarter from the OEMs mentioned here. But they'll be deployed in multiple regions across the world, and we really view this as a full-function, feature-rich, no-compromises smartphone. And we think that first-time buyers in these markets are going to be absolutely thrilled with the performance and the features they get from these devices. So let's talk about our platform plans here a little bit. As you know, last year we introduced Medfield. Today we're talking about Lexington, which is the value smartphone play. We also have a product coming out, I'll say soon, Clover Trail Plus, that many of you have probably already heard of. Clover Trail Plus has 2 times the CPU performance of the current Medfield generation, and it will continue to offer competitive battery life, sacrificing battery life performance. So the next generation after that will be based on Intel 22 nanometer technology, and we're on track to deliver that to customers later this year. So let's move to tablets and Ultrabooks. This past September, we announced our Clover Trail platform, and we couldn't be more happy with the way it's gone. It was a new SoC that we built from the ground up to run Windows 8. The idea was that we could produce a part that had fantastic battery life. It gave you connected standby, always on, always connected, and all-day battery life. We have a range of platforms from 10 different leading OEMs available today, with a growing number being made available in the future, and you'll see roughly 10 in the market with worldwide distribution as we speak. They're on display in the Intel booth. Most of them are also available here, so please take a look when we're done the presentation. So the Intel devices provide some unique advantages. What is it that makes these devices great? You know, the user experience, it's about responsiveness. It's about having a fluid experience when you're doing touch. It's about having battery life that's great. It's about having long standby time. And it's also about having the performance you need at the time you need it. So it's instant performance and then back to instant off. And of course, compatibility, which is one of the strengths of our platform. This platform does it all. So we've already announced this, but again, it has 1.8 gigahertz. It has power efficiency multitasking, 10 plus hours of battery life, and greater than 3 weeks of standby. So, of course, one of the main things about these tablets is, can it run what you own? And I have to tell you, I happen to have a tablet here. And of course, one of the things I use all the time to manage my music is iTunes. And our platform provides full compatibility with the suite of applications that's been available for Windows, as well as many of the peripherals that people already own. This is heritage from years of collaboration with Microsoft. And again, I'll let sort of unbiased sources give their opinion of whether or not you should be buying our platform here. I love the quote. Here comes the exciting part. I get to give a sneak peek of new technology we're announcing today that's really
I didn't catch that.
for us. We are introducing the
And they went kind of
Trail.
fast.
So
Yeah, we'll have to
generation
grab that frame
Apple
later.
architecture-based chip. It's based on 22 nanometer technology. It will have greater than 2 times the CPU performance of our current generation, and it will support a whole range of connectivity options. Although you didn't know it, this device, the entire time I've been standing here. So, these 3 devices here are devices that have actually been working with OEM partners to get Windows running and get ready for a launch later this year. You see devices from Compal, Pegatron, and Wistron based on the Bay Trail architecture. Also want to point out that we're supporting this platform as well. Here you see Android running on the same platform. So we're moving quickly to enable OEM systems. We're building on our work that was done with the previous generation of chipsets, and we intend to have systems available in holiday of 2013. So, wrapping things up for my part here today, we are thrilled at the progress we made in 2012. You can see the fruits of our labor, our partners' labor here. You see visions of things to come. We think the Bay Trail platform is going to be incredibly exciting for ourselves and our customers who are going to really love these platforms. And now I'd like to invite Kirk Scoggin up on stage to talk about what we're doing on the core side of the house. Kirk?
All right, thank you. Good afternoon. Well, I think there's one thing that we all know, and that's in the mobile computing space, the lines are blurring. And we as human beings have 2 innate things we like to do. We like to consume content, which we've been able to do and certainly been doing for the last year on smartphones and tablets. But we also like to create. That's why we take our kids to art school, to music school, make movies, write books. And we fundamentally believe that there's a convergence happening between what had traditionally been notebook computing and tablet computing in a new range or a new segment that we've called the Ultrabook convertible and detachable. And we'll talk more about that. And Intel Corporation has rapidly been modifying its product line to address this segment. In September 2012, at our developer forum, we talked about a new product line. You know, when we invented the Ultrabook, we cut the power of our chips in half, from basically 35 watts to 17 watts. And back in December, we talked about on the 4th generation core, our next generation Haswell part, that sometime in 2013, we'd create a new product line aimed at this convertible, detachable, and tablet segment to bring full core performance, full core security into this product line at about 10 watts. Well, what I can say today is that Intel is executing on all cylinders. And I'm very pleased to announce that we're not going to have to wait for the 4th generation core or later this year to get this kind of performance. Today I'm announcing a pull-in of our low-power processors. They'll be branded Core, And we're going to move that from 4th generation into our 3rd generation Core Ivy Bridge products. We're announcing them and launching them, shipping in full production today. And we're actually exceeding our power targets. So these products are announcing today as 7 watts versus the 10 watts we announced back in September or so. These will deliver thinner, lighter, and longer battery life platforms, both in convertible, detachable, and even tablets. And so we're roughly talking about performance here in these systems that I'll show you in a second that's about 5 times the performance of an NVIDIA Tegra 3 product. 5 times the performance moving into tablets, detachables, and convertibles. So what I wanted to do is show you what's happening here from our partners with Acer. This is the Acer Aspire system. It's a full Ultrabook computer. So as you can see here, it's got a beautiful keyboard, mechanically detachable. But what's incredible about this Aspire system is when you're going to detach it, and this will be available later this spring, you're going to get a product versus the current Iconia system that's 20% thinner, 20% better weight, with full core performance, business class security, and a full HD display at 1080p. So this is a stunning 10mm form factor at 800 grams with the full range of core performance from Core i3, Core i5, and Core i7. Fantastic job from Acer running a full Windows 8 experience. Available later this spring. The other thing I'm incredibly excited about is a product that we have from Lenovo that's announcing in the June timeframe. And many of you are probably familiar with what's happened with the 13.3-inch Yoga, where they've delivered an Ultrabook convertible that has kind of 4 operating modes. It operates as a full clamshell. It operates in tent mode, that you can see here on the screen, for if you're kind of consuming or if someone's leaning back that chair in the economy class in the airplane. Or it can operate as a full tablet. Well, Lenovo wanted to put Intel architecture into an even thinner device. And so what Lenovo has announced yesterday is the Lenovo Yoga 11S. At $799, you're going to get a full core Ultrabook systems. We'll see systems later in the first half of the year. And of course, this can operate in tent mode all the way back. And we're actually running Civilization 5 on this, which is a full high-end Core i5 game, an incredibly thin, incredibly light 11.6-inch system. So the best of a tablet and the best of a notebook all-in-one product line, pulling this in from 4th generation to 3rd generation Core today, with product shipping in the next couple months from our OEMs and full production of the processor from Intel already today. So if you go back and look at the history of Ultrabook, you know, we announced this as a journey. And when we were up at CES last year, remember Jeff Clark joined our CEO Paul Alini on stage and really showed the first Ivy Bridge or 3rd generation Core Ultrabook. At that time, we had 21 designs in the market. Today, I'm proud to announce that we're shipping nearly 140 designs in the marketplace. Think about how that ecosystem has shifted around this momentum around Ultrabook. Nearly, you know, in just 2 generations, from 2nd generation to 3rd generation Core, going from not even creating the category to a $300 million Ultrabook fund to now almost 140 platforms in the marketplace. We've got, you know, dozens of platforms now, below $150. And what I think you're going to see by the end of this year is touch-based systems down at the $599 price point. $599 for touch. Remember, a year and a half ago, we were standing up here and we were at $999. People were wondering if we'd be at $699. So we have a broad range of $599 systems in the market today without touch. I think we'll move to $599 with touch as we get through the year. Up here, you see a broad range of the convertibles that are coming to market. I said there'd be more innovation in this next year than we've had in the last decade of the notebook market, and I think that's come to fruition. You have things like the Asus Tai Chi, which is a dual screen system, a screen on both sides of the system. You have the Lenovo Yoga, which we kind of call flip. You have slider and things from Lenovo as well. So a lot of mechanical innovation, delivering the best of the notebook and the best of the tablet. We also now are moving aggressively into touch. We'll have about 40 touch designs in the marketplace, again, as low as $599. And all of these systems you see up here are touch enabled. So basically, every single day, we're getting more and more mechanical innovation. I thought I'd just share with you what's being announced this week from NEC. You know, a lot of the market, especially in the US, is 15-inch screen sizes. And I showed you kind of a nice 11.6 inch, but this is a 12.8 millimeter, 15-inch design from NEC. They've absolutely done a phenomenal job on this. Less than a half an inch thick. And maybe the best way to kind of describe it to you is there's about 150 million notebooks out there, 150 million that are 3 years or older. And it's almost shocking to try to lift this thing up, which is what a standard 3-year-old notebook looks like today. I'm going to do my best to hold it up there, but I can tell you it's tough. And compare it to what's now in a 15-inch notebook launching today. We've
Maybe
literally
it needs to work out a little more.
Meters in this transition to Ultrabooks. And remember, we're just on a journey to Haswell in a few months.
Can you hear the camera shutters?
The other thing we talked about is what is the
yes.
What I can tell you today, and we are
It's not bad.
Today is between 2011 and 2012, our ultra-low voltage, or 17-watt product, has grown 5 times in the volume from 2011 to 2012, because the entire market has gotten thinner. Not just Ultrabooks, but below Ultrabook categories as well. The entire world has kind of been drafting as a bow wave the Ultrabook momentum and creating things smaller and smaller. So, what is there coming in 2013? Well, as the video showed, we believe the 4th generation Intel Core Ultrabooks are going to be game changers. This is the first product that we've delivered and designed in Intel from the grounds up with Ultrabook in mind. All the other 140 designs I talked about today were things that we had to retrofit that were already in development some way through the silicon development process. So Haswell is the first product line that was designed grounds up, 4th generation core, for Ultrabook available later this year. We're going to be able with these devices now to interact naturally with touch and with voice. And so what I'm announcing today is that the 4th generation core Ultrabooks will have a mandatory touch requirement. To be an Ultrabook on the 4th generation core, it will be required to have touch. We'll have voice capability. We'll illustrate that in a little bit. It's going to turn on essentially instantaneously. When you open the lid, within a couple seconds, you get access to your data, and it's going to be always fresh data. So what does that mean? Either through Microsoft's Connected Standby or through Intel Smart Connect, when you open the lid of your computer, all your email will be fresh, all your Twitter feeds, your Facebook, all your data.
Well, we seem to have lost the feed for just a moment.
Updated already. The largest battery life increase, generation on generation, in the history of Intel Corporation. Absolutely all-day battery life, where you just don't have to bring your power brick at all.
Nice recovery, Dave.
Thinner, lighter designs, and mandatory
My phone rang.
wireless display. So we're going to be enabling millions of consumer electronics TVs with people like LG, Samsung, and Toshiba already in the market today. But WiDi or Intel wireless display will be mandatory for this Ultrabook. It'll also be the most secure platform in the market with anti-theft capability. You can hardware lock PC if it gets attacked. If it's a taxi cab station in downtown New York, you'll be able to know that the taxi cab driver dropped it off there. You can turn it back on with a password. It'll have Intel identity protection technology so that you have a more secure presence on the internet. It'll require antivirus and anti-malware with more announcements from McAfee coming. And of course, this is where we really unleash the convertible category. So what I thought I'd talk about today is show you the first internal Intel reference design based on not the 3rd generation core that we talked about with Acer and Lenovo, but what we have internally at Intel now already running on the 4th generation core processor. So this is our concept platform, or a form factor reference design called North Cape. And it's in a full Ultrabook experience, a 17-millimeter Ultrabook. It has a battery both underneath the keyboard as well as behind the display. And the CPU here actually sits behind the display. This is going to deliver an amazing 13 hours of battery life. So think about the average notebook sometimes taking about 4 hours of battery life. We're talking about delivering 13 hours of battery life as a full system. But what's unique about this is we've created a one-finger detach mechanism that you can simply remove the keyboard, and we've got an amazing tablet experience here. 850-gram Core i5, i7 capable machine at 10 millimeters. It's going to deliver up to 10 hours of battery life. So it has a one-handed detach mechanism. And what's interesting is we've created something called Smart Frame. So this is essentially 11.6-inch form factor. What we're able to do is hit a little button here, and the screen increases to a full 13.3 screen. So you get a full 13.3 screen experience at 11.6 by using some things around our graphics drivers. And if I test this here, we'll kind of play a high-end racing game, if I'm any good at it. I guess I'm not. But this is something where you now can get, with accelerometers and all of the sensors that were typically only available in notebooks, something that already on third-generation Core from Acer and Lenovo we showed is 5 times the performance of a Tegra 3, and now it's going to get even better as we launch this later this year. So outstanding work by the team at Intel to get this going. How about that? All right. So this is really one-handed detach, a smart frame concept to go from 11.6 to 13.3, 10 hours of battery life in a tablet at just over 800 grams. So pretty amazing stuff. And we think we'll see these kind of convertibles down at $799, $899 kind of price points when they first come out. Okay. So let's move on from mobility and talk about the innovation that's happening and some of the game-changing things that are going to happen in 2013 around all-in-one computing. You know, we coined something called bringing back family night, but what we're really talking about is the evolution of what has been a traditional desktop. What's amazing is that 80% of homes in mature markets have a desktop, and 88% of those homes use their desktop computer every single day. There are 200 million desktops out there that are 4 years or older, and with Windows 8 and Touch and the all-in-one, we think we're going to dramatically change that. So, you know, I thought I'd just pull off a typical all-in-one here, and we'll talk a little bit about it. This is the Sony Tap 20 all-in-one, and of course it's running Windows 8. But what's been unique about what we did this year in all-in-ones, we were the first people to obviously have touch, and then you could lay this into easel mode, so you could get much better manipulation of this screen if you're doing things like creating a slideshow or painting or those kinds of things. It makes touch much more intuitive if you're sitting at your desk this way. And more we're getting to lay flat all-in-ones. But there's something that I guess we've shown here on the Sony that we'll talk more about, and that is that we've actually removed all the wires from the desktop. This Sony Tap 20 actually has a battery in the back. And what we're talking about today is delivering an entire new ecosystem of kind of semi-portable, what we call mobile all-in-one or tabletop computing. And that's going to basically enable a shared experience for both business and consumers where you can interact with this touchscreen now from any side. And because we're talking about 10-finger touch on the screen, you can have multiple hands playing games or these kinds of things around the screen. So we call it bringing back family night. So what do we mean? Well, this is much more than just hardware platforms. Today we're announcing a broad ecosystem around these mobile all-in-ones from hardware partners like HP, Dell, Lenovo, Panasonic, and Sony, and HP, but also a growing range of software that's going to be taking advantage of this kind of application. We'll show some of those. Aftermouse is going to be delivering 10 multi-user touch applications, things like as simple as dominoes or Pong, Casino or Sudoku. Microsoft will be delivering Mahjong to the platform. Sesame Street will be doing a whole set of educational games for 6 to 9-year-olds where you can actually have 4 different 6 to 9-year-olds playing around the screen doing math. 4 different people doing mixing of audio and music, and Electronic Arts doing Monopoly. So What we have over here is just a brand new example of the tabletop PC that Lenovo announced yesterday. This is a 27-inch battery-backed all-in-one. And here we have a typical family, whereas instead of everyone kind of huddled around their phone, we've actually brought the mobile computer over to the coffee table, and they're playing Electronic Arts Monopoly now on a distribution per this adaptive all-in-one category, using the dice and really bringing the family together on all 4 screens of the adaptive all-in-one. So, after the kids go to bed, we're in Vegas. So let's play some poker. So we got our demo team here. What can we show them here on the same machine after the kids are in bed? So you're playing a little poker, I see.
Yeah, Kirk, what we've got here is we've got a poker application, and this allows us to not only use that same great Lenovo Horizon all-in-one that you saw, 27-inch screen, but we've also got some additional functionality in here that allows us to actually interact with this using our phone. And so with this, what we can do is we can actually go in here and we can see our cards rather than having to, we can use obviously the touch screen to make some gestures with the cards, but then our buddies
go all in.
So this way we can actually see the cards in our own hand on our Android phone handsets here and interact with the application on the touch screen.
So great, this is an example where you have multiple people playing poker, touchscreen on there obviously, but actually interacting with the cards on an Android application on an Android phone. So great stuff, guys. Thank you very much. This is just a simple example of how the all-in-one category is evolving as well, not just on the hardware side, but on the software side for education and gaming and things like that. Okay, today we also have several announcements from our service providers. The service provider has been noticing that Intel is in the tablet game now, in a big way with Windows 8. Obviously, the detachable Ultrabooks and convertible Ultrabooks, as well as the all-in-one, kind of getting out from underneath that desk where we used to collect dust into places like the kitchen, onto the tabletop, and even onto the floor with kids playing on the floor, as I showed you earlier. So what Comcast is announcing today is that using the new Intel Puma 6 silicon, which will be announced later in the first half of this year, they're announcing an Xfinity XG5 home video gateway that you'll be able to see in the Intel booth. And that Atom kind of based Puma gateway will deliver for the first time full premium TV content and video on demand through multi-screen without a set-top box. So today, with Comcast as the largest cable operator in the United States, you need a set-top box on every TV to get premium content. Because of the security across Intel devices, they're now going to basically put this home gateway in the app based on app work and the Intel in. Premium video competition in France. Telecom, one of the largest operators in France, a multi-billion euro company. They've won the Best Broadband Experience Award based on their Atom-based gateways last year. They're supplying and launching as well this week full pay TV, video on demand, and catch-up services anywhere on the Bouygues Telecom network, onto things like the adaptive all-in-ones, but also even onto Intel Android phones and Ultrabook computers. So you can see we're delivering premium pay TV. The service providers are now putting that premium pay TV content on the devices as we become more mobile and the desktops get into areas like the kitchen. These will be Windows 8 applications, and this Bouygues Telecom app will be available in the fall of 2013. Okay, well, lastly, let's talk about maybe the best for last. And let's talk about Perceptual. We have been interacting with the PC, with a keyboard and mouse, for decades. And in 2013, we're going to change that. We're going to change that by adding eyes, ears, voice, touch, and emotional context to the PC. We're basically going to give the PC the same kind of human senses that we've all had by putting better microphone, better eyes and ears, et cetera, on the PC. So we're adding natural human interfaces. We've had a center of excellence under Willie Eden, and I'd like to bring our Director of Research and Development for Perceptual Computing, Achin Bomick, to the stage, and we'll talk a little bit more about this. Achin. All right, so start out with what do we mean by perceptual computing? Just give them a quick overview.
Yes, like we said, Carl, in perceptual computing, we are adding human-like senses to the computing devices. Eyes, ears, touch, emotion, and context. So we can have interactive, lifelike experiences with our computing devices.
So our CEO, Paul, last year at CES talked about voice in a relationship with Nuance, and we can give him an update on where we're at in 2013 with our voice progress.
All right, so yeah, we're already shipping an assistant beta that was developed in partnership with our months on Dell XPS systems. And this year in 2013, we expect to ramp that multiple OEMs in multiple systems across the world.
Right, so Dell is already shipping the beta software from Nuance. You can download that if you're a Dell Ultrabook customer. We'll be launching 9 languages in 27 countries. And the way we have our voice assistant, and you've seen demos of this before, you can basically interface with Facebook and Twitter to post with voice. You can do a Google search with voice. You can interact with Wikipedia, command and control with gaming. So this is on track. It's launching out with Dell, and we're expanding our relationship with Nuance. We'll show you some more of that in a second. I guess the second area is passwords.
Yes.
And, we do about 220,000 interviews a year at Intel, believe it or not, of end users. And one of the things that's most startling is how insecure we're making our PCs and computing devices. In fact, one of our anthropologists said that a recent breach of 32 million passwords, the top 4 passwords that showed up were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, followed closely by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, followed by ABC 1, 2, 3, and last but not least, the word password. So now you're going to have to redo all your passwords after you leave this because we've dissected the code. But what we really want to do is have a vision where you are your password, where your voice, your face, it just works, right? So then we can show them the progress we've made here.
Yes, with perceptual computing, the system can recognize me. And the one thing we can do is have me log into the system.
Great.
So this system has been configured to recognize me. And as you can see, I didn't have to type in my password. It simply recognizes me and lets me into the system.
Yeah, well, it was pretty quick, pretty fantastic. The simplest demos are sometimes the hardest, especially when they work. But hey, I've seen this before, right? You can run a video, you can show a picture of somebody, and this gets spoofed, right? Well, what are we doing different with the camera technology?
You're right,
with our relationship with Sensible Vision?
So the face login has been in academic research for decades now, and we have also seen some products that didn't work very well. Our solution with Sensible Vision is very robust. We use advanced image processing to incorporate anti-spoofing features that do not let you into the system with your photos and videos.
So how many points on the face are we looking at?
We have multiple points and faces and intermuscular movements, advanced technologies that we have built into the product.
Right, so we're looking at probably 7 different points on the face. We're looking at multi-muscular movements, and then we can actually add multimodal capabilities, which would be the combination of logging in maybe with voice and with facial recognition. But this is something that is shipping today. Again, with Dell starting out, but this is going to go pretty ubiquitous across the world, we think, of real robust, simple password technology, given most of us don't even put a password on our device.
Across systems and customers will see
okay.
the market.
Well, let's move on to gesture. What can we do on gesture?
So it is not just about 2D camera and facial logging, but at the Intel Developer Forum 2 months ago, we announced the Perceptual Computing Software Development Kit, and this lightweight, single USB-powered, small form factor 3D camera device that has close-range gesture interactions, face recognition, voice recognition, and 3D object tracking capabilities built in.
So this kind of thing used to be something that you have to plug into an AC power adapter in your wall. We're now, for the software development kit, plugging it into a USB stick, and this will be available through retail as a low-cost peripheral this year, in addition to what we're already using for the last about 4 months with our software developers in a relationship we have with Creative as well.
And we have seen thousands of developers download the SDK and starting to develop really interactive applications based on it.
So we made a lot of progress getting the software development community from an AC power adapter to a USB powered. But of course, we all remember these sitting on our desktops a long time ago or on our monitors, right? Rest assured, Intel is working to integrate this directly into all-in-one computers and Ultrabooks in the future as well. And we'll come back to you with when exactly that happens. So what can we do with this camera technology?
Before I show a demo, I'd like to point out that two-dimensional interfaces, like Kak mentioned, mouse and touch, confine the users to the plane of the display. But when you have 3D computer vision and 3D camera, it allows you to interact with the system because it can understand 10-finger fine-grained articulation of your fingers in the three-dimensional space. And when you have that technology, you
We've
can...
seen some of these before, and the hand looks like a nub, and it all looks like one point. What we're talking about here is, with our software development kit, the ability to actually see every single one of your 10 fingers and what they're doing in three-dimensional space. So we could open doors in a game, close doors, anything our fingers would do.
Yeah, and let me show you a demo of that.
Okay?
So, I'm going to go inside the application here, immerse myself, and as you can see, the system understands the fine fingers movements, and I can really interact with the objects in the screen. Let the coins accumulate on my finger, I throw them away. This level of interactions in the three-dimensional space is not possible with mouse, keyboard, or 2D cameras.
This is really after about 90 to 120 days of coding following the software development kit release at our developer forum.
Yes.
Okay, great. What else can we show?
So, I'd like to show Portal 2. Our partners at 6 Sense has enabled Portal 2 to be played with hand gestures. For those of you who have played Portal 2, it's a very popular game, of course. And you need to go in and with a portal gun, you manipulate your cube. Here I am moving this into the three-dimensional space. To do this with the keyboard and the mouse, you wish you had 20 fingers. And I'm taking it inside the system. I'm allowing it on the pedestal. And very simply, I drop it. So, I go on hours playing this game.
Something that typically maybe had a multi-$100 controller, and with games like Portal 2, we could use not just the gesture, but voice as well, and be able to interact while we're manipulating the object. Maybe use voice to say
even voice recognition for fine control, and it's immersing yourself into the content finally.
Okay, well, gaming is interesting. Big segment for us, of course, and so that's interesting. What else can we do with this kind of technology?
So it's not just about interacting with 3D and playing games, but with 3D computer vision technology, we can transform the way people communicate with each other with video. So we can make video conferencing immersive. Here I'm showing an example. I have my friend Diana over there. She decide what movie to rent. And see, when you do that with a traditional video conference, I can see the objects that we want to talk about at the back, but significant part of the screen is also blocked by the background. We have the technology for recognizing 3D around us, so we could take that away. So Diana, why don't you take your background away, please? So that is the beauty of 3D camera and 3D computer vision technology. And now we don't have to be cluttered by the background. Imagine yourself into the content. It's not just about immersive video conferencing, but also video blogging with green screen, where you can create content with yourself.
Notice she didn't move much. Next week's conference is going to love that technology.
With that screen behind them trying to report the news, I guess, right?
Right.
Okay.
And also, one thing I'd like to mention before we move out of the SDK is we have finally rolled out the $1 Million Developer Contest. The details are on the Intel website, and we're seeing a lot of traction on developers that are coming up with really groundbreaking ideas that are being provided right now.
All right, one more maybe. What can we do
so
now?
We're not stopping at gesture recognition. Imagine the computer being able to track your eyes. And with our partner, Toby, we are working on technology to track your eyes. Here, I have one of the most popular games with the kids in the US. When you see it, it's Where is Waldo? And in the next screen, I have the task of finding Waldo. And the way I'm doing that right now, you can see my eye on the screen, hopefully. I'm trying to find Waldo. And Waldo, there you are. Don't hide. So you can see I can find Waldo simply by moving my eyes. Okay, I see Waldo on the left side here. There he is. So imagine immersive, intuitive gaming and fun content that is enabled simply by tracking where you're looking on the screen.
So that's fantastic. That's fantastic news. So here's what we showed you guys. Perceptual computing coming to computing in 2013. Voice in 9 languages across 27 countries is coming from Nuance with full Facebook, Twitter integration, etc. We talked about gesture and full 10-finger, not just basic page turning or basic gesture recognition with full 10-finger articulation through our software development kits, eye tracking capability, as well as touch being required on the Ultrabook. So fantastic job, Achin,
Thank you.
from you and your team.
And stay tuned for innovations in the space. Thank you.
Okay, well, let me sum it all up today. So hopefully what you took away is that Intel is executing. We're pulling in our products, whether it's Atom-based or core-based, with new announcements in the across the board. We'll talk about that in a second. We're aggressively innovating. We're driving a whole set of new experiences, whether it's perceptual or bringing more multi-person gaming experiences to the adaptive all-in-one. And we're building ecosystems like you like to do. So let me quickly recap some of the major announcements. First, we're announcing a new value Atom smartphone platform for emerging markets. Announcements from Acer, Lava, and Safaricom. Secondly, Bay Trail, quad-core, 22-nanometer Atom-based processing for tablets in holiday 2013. Third, a pull-in from 4th-generation core to 3rd-generation core, and reduction in power from 10 watts to 7 watts of our new core processor for Ultrabooks and tablets, with announcements coming later in the first half of the products from Acer and Lenovo, with convertibles and detachables. 4th-generation Ultrabook platforms will require touch, require Intel wireless display, and will deliver the largest battery life increase in the history of Intel Corporation, generation on generation. In 2013, we're adding natural human interface to the platform with voice, touch, as well as gesture, facial recognition, and software development for eye tracking technology. We have live and on-demand premium TV content. All our leading vendors like Comcast and Telecom being the first announcements later today. And all-in-one computers are going to go battery-backed, semi-portable computing, lay-flat, immersive, multi-person experiences. Thanks for attending. It's going to be a game-changing year for Intel. Please visit us in the booth, and you'll see a lot more of this technology. Thank you very much.
Woohoo! That worked out pretty well.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for attending. And tomorrow morning, Intel will provide credentialed analysts.
Yeah, it was a little long, guys, but just a reminder, we'll be at PepCom tonight, and we'll have a lot of interviews, a lot of antics, you know, looking at different products. Not quite like press releases like this one is. This can be kind of boring, although there was some nice stuff. But I agree, it can be kind of boring.
No, it wasn't. You know, it wasn't too bad. We actually had some really good chat going on while the press conference was happening. So I'll remind folks, if they're out there listening live and they're not joining us in chat, you can do that. Just look down. There's a chat window down there. You don't even need to create an account to make it work. And you can be chatting with us live during CES coverage. Dave gets more comments on his rig. Just actually live stream, but
yeah.
You're going to start a trend there, Dave.
I've actually picked up a lot of interviews. People wanting to interview us because of you know how we're doing, how we're delivering. We're delivering live instead of writing it up.
Great.
Uh-oh. I just talked to CBS.
Oh, very nice.
Which that's a analog mic?
That's yes, from IK Multimedia. They have a booth here at CES.
Nice looking mic.
Yeah, it works out very well.
Great.
Have a good show.
Tell him the key is an awesome producer.
We all know that, Jen. All right, I'm going to try to get out of here, and we're going to go to Dish Network.
All right, drop it down, and I'll stay live for a little bit if folks want to jump in and chat with me. I know the chat room's hopping now. Dave, how long do you think before, what, about 15 minutes?
I'm going to go to Dish Network. It's going to be at 3 o'clock.
Okay, I'm going to stay live. If you want to drop off on Skype,
I'll check in a little while.
Yeah, give me a ping when you're ready.
I'll check it.
All right, see you in a few. All right, many of you out there in chat or have gotten an invite, I hope, to jump in. You can do that if you'd like. We got about 15, 20 minutes before Dave comes back. And you guys can join me in here. You've gotten through the You got through the Intel press conference, press release, whatever they want to call it, and some interesting things in there that's coming through. So if you're out there in the chat and you got an invite from me, you can. Yeah, Dave did all that with his phone. His iPhone 4S on 3G, surprisingly enough. And you should see Dave's. Thanks, John. You should see Dave's rig. So he talks about he's getting all kinds of. If you've been watching the coverage since yesterday, you'll know. But he's getting all kinds of people who are coming up to him and saying, "Hey, what do you what do you got?" So he's got this long pole. I think it's 4 foot, whatever. And on top of it is a rig that holds the iPhone in place, and then he's got batteries taped to the pole with this pink tape wrapped around it, and the phone plugged into the batteries so that he doesn't. It's called a monopod, Tim. Thanks. I just like calling it a pole, but maybe that's offensive. And so he gets more and more people that come up to him and say, "Hey, what are you doing with that?" And so I can't. At first, I thought, "Oh yeah, whatever." But he gets 2 or 3 of those every place he goes. So it's pretty cool. He's gonna have to do a post on all the stuff that he took, and I won't repeat that one, Chris. Oh man, I've started a beast in chat. I'll remind you, you're listening to you're listening live, CES 2013 home server show, SurfaceGeeks.net and the AverageGuy.tv simulcast of CES 2013. Dave's on the ground in Las Vegas. Thanks for joining us. We've got quite a few out there in live stream, and we are glad that you've come out. One thing you might want to do if you are going to use Twitter for it, just tweet hashtag #LiveCES, all one word, live, and then capital C, capital E, capital S. And that's kind of the way I am monitoring that Twitter. So if you want to get some information to us here in the studio, you can get that set up as well. And just hashtag #LiveCES. Also, Dave has a page, a Skype page. Dave has a Skype page. Roger, that's why I didn't say anything, by the way. Yeah, this is a family show. Dave have a Skype gallery, actually, photo gallery going on over at homeservershow.com/live, all the way to the bottom of the page. All the pictures he's been taking on his Lumia 920 are down there in the Skype, in a Skype gallery. You can open that up and run a slideshow if you want. That's while you're waiting in between live events, you can do that. All right, do I need to re-invite you guys to come in here? Let me do that. I need a few folks to bridge the gap here. We're at CES. If you have ample bandwidth and a good microphone and you got a few minutes, I'm gonna invite you to hang out. I need a good chair. In the live stream, hang tight. I'm going to end this segment real quick and start a new one. That way it's easier for me to edit. So don't go anywhere, live streamers. I'll be back literally in 20 seconds.